We're engaging with a rather unhelpful habit that winemakers employ, often with the best of intentions, but which usually end up undermining their really rather quite hard work. Now, what happens is a winemaker will make what they deem to be a flagship wine, and perhaps it's from a single vineyard, perhaps the yields are very low and the vines are very old. And when this happens, the winemaker takes on a certain tone of voice. There's breathless whispers of adoration and kind of the emotional equivalent of cathedral lighting. But then that winemaker will make another wine, and perhaps this one is not a single vineyard, it's from a bunch of different vineyards, and so he has to collect all the fruit and he has to bring it back to the cellar, and it's not native yeast, he inoculates with some yeast, and because he's inoculated, everything goes fairly smoothly. There are no heroics, but it should be noted that it took far more hard work to produce this particular wine, because he had to collect the fruit and then add the yeast, and then he had to blend the parcels afterwards before bottling. And yet when this wine comes out onto the market, the winemaker's tone of voice changes, it becomes a lot more casual, and he might say something like, "Oh, this one, yes, that's my Bry wine. You can just knock that back." And whenever a winemaker says that to me, I have to ask why. Why does he feel like he needs to ration his enthusiasm?
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
As if being excited about both wines for different reasons will somehow result in stealing some of the light from the oh-so-delicate flagship bottling. Because there's a rather gross contradiction in that whole scenario, which I've already hinted at, and that is that usually with the flagship, distinct, single-site, single-vineyard wines, winemakers profess to do very little because they don't want to be involved. They just want to let the vineyards speak. They just guide the fruit through the fermentation process, almost as if this was some sort of gargantuan viticultural version of the Olympic sport of curling. You just gesture at the grapes, you don't actually touch them. Now, if that is true, then why is the enthusiasm reserved for that wine as opposed to the wine where the winemaker, in his expertise and with all his experience and genius, did quite a lot of hard work to produce a really rather delicious drink? What exactly are the factors that give us permission to take a wine seriously?